calling the Caddo Parish Commission work session for November the 2nd to order. Roll call, please.
Dominic, Johnson, Williams, Lynn, Bowman, Baker, Cawthorn, Gage Watts, Escaday, Thibodeau, Cox, Smith, Epperson. You want me to say something so long?
Commissioner Cox, if you lead us in invocation, and Commissioner Thibodeau leads us in pledge.
Everyone, please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we gather here today to do your God's work. Please look over the men and women of the armed services around the world who are looking after us. And be your will, guide us through this meeting. Amen.
Okay.
Join me in pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any agenda additions? I have none. Next item.
Next, we move to citizen comments.
Citizens who wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward to myself or the clerk of the commission. Comments of any citizen will be limited to 3 minutes. Next item.
Next, we move to,
Well, I have no citizens card, so do you?
no, sir.
Okay. Next item.
Next, we move to visitors. I think Mr. Johnny Grinley is not going to be able to be here today. Next, we move to Robert Fortune and Mr. Russell Sarpy, co-founders Perceptive Intelligence LLC.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to the Commission. Appreciate you guys having us here today and listening to what we got to say. Special thanks to Mr. Epperson for inviting us to talk to you today. Our company is Perceptive Intelligence. We're a Shreveport-based software development company that's focused on law enforcement information sharing software. You're not looking at the programmers here. We're the brains behind the program, and the actual programmers we use are Prasis, another Shreveport-based company. I used to work for the FBI for about 18 years. I left to pursue this. A partner of Russell here was with the Shreveport Police Department for 20 years. And then ended up down at the DeSoto Parish Sheriff's Office for 3 years. We both left to pursue this opportunity after receiving a patent on a system and method for information sharing. The information system that we developed is known as LENS, the Law Enforcement Network Sharing Solution, and we believe it'll be a solution to a national problem our law enforcement is facing currently, that being the fact that they cannot communicate effectively information that they have in their own files. What we've seen throughout our careers, and then also in the research that we've done since we've left, what they have out there is what is known, we call it a reports-based system. They require law enforcement to put reports into a big database. Then you do it just like a Google search. When you search for keywords, it pulls up a whole list of reports, and then you can look through those reports, read it, pull the information out of there, apply it to the situation the officer has. Problem with that is it's not really something that's conducive to the environment that the frontline officer faces day in and day out in their careers. They don't have that much time for a traffic stop, or if they get called to a house in response to a domestic disturbance or, prowler or something along those lines. They don't have time to be researching all that. Our system solves that problem. We classify the information before it goes in the system. Now, without getting into all the technicalities that are involved in how our system works, suffice to say that what this will do, it will offer a tool to law enforcement that actually motivates and eventually will compel law enforcement to all get on one system. It'll surpass anything else that's out there right now in law enforcement, and we'd like to see that system be anchored here in Shreveport and Bossier City in northwest Louisiana, and bring economic development to this area based on people in the industry trying to get close to a company that's developing the system. What we see it doing for law enforcement around here is, as we start to roll it out, we have targeted this area, our law enforcement agencies in this area, as our beta test version, or beta test agencies for this initial version of the software. We feel like once those officers go through the initial use of the system, they'll be the experts on the system. So if you want to test products that are going to be used on this system, additional technology, companies are going to come to this area to test those systems with the experts on the system. Nobody in the country will have more experience on LENS than our local law enforcement agencies here. So we see a significant economic development opportunity for this area. What we're here today to do is to tell you about it, and if Russell and I do our job, we'll bring LENS to this area. We'll bring the technology and the national attention. We're going to need the help of our local community leaders and state leaders to get the area positioned to take advantage of something that could garner this type of attention. Not only could it potentially bring technology-related jobs to this area and that type of attention, we also see opportunities for grants. If you've got a law enforcement system that you want to test certain technology out, how it works and how it's applied in the law enforcement environment and related fields, we feel like the government, the federal government in particular, through grant programs, will be using Lens as the innovative technology upon which a lot of those grants are based in the future. So we want to make you aware of what we see coming in the next year to 2 years as this system gets rolled out. And if you have any questions for us about it, we'd like to be able to share that with you. Okay.
One of the other things that Lens does that Bob didn't really elaborate on is that because it's not a reports-based system, we can do parent and guardian notifications. I know one of the things that the Caddo Commission is probably interested in is reducing the number of beds that's at Caddo Detention Center. That's probably a cost associated with the commission. One of the things that we do is more of a proactive instead of a reactive situation with juveniles. We can now inform guardians or parents when juveniles are being engaged by law enforcement. Whenever a law enforcement officer is engaging a juvenile, whether it be a detention, a traffic stop, a traffic accident, or whatnot, it now puts the parents in contact with that law enforcement officer. It sends the parent a text message, an email notification. It could be a delayed notification. Now the parent knows that little Johnny has just been encountered by law enforcement on a traffic stop or a traffic accident. Let's just say that little Johnny has medical issues like he cannot be exposed to penicillin or whatnot. So now if little Johnny's unconscious on a traffic stop in Shreveport, well, all the officer has to do is query little Johnny's license plate or his DMV information, and now that law enforcement officer has that medical information available to disseminate to the EMTs. There is no other systems that are available nationwide that can do what the Lens system does. And all this stuff is pioneered right here in Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, and we want y'all to support us in getting law enforcement on this. We're already offering it at a reduced rate to try to get law enforcement incentivized to get on this system. And we don't have enough time to even tell you all the benefits that it does, but that's just a sample version of what Lens can do for the community here.
I'll close with just telling you a couple things about it'll increase officer safety because you're able to get the information directly to the officer. It'll facilitate the communication process between officers because we're using, with today's technology, because we base this database in the cloud, you don't have to have a server at every department that's going to participate in it. All they have to do is have an internet connection. Communication takes place not by radio, so you don't have to worry about the radio contact between different agencies. You can just do it over your cell phone using the internet connection, or you can use it through text messages and emails. So it's cutting edge stuff, and because it's in the cloud and it utilizes cell phones and laptops, it's also something that's going to be affordable to a lot of departments, and we feel like it's not just going to be something here that happens locally, it's something that's going to expand nationally and will bring that type of attention to the Shreveport-Bossier City area, northwest Louisiana area.
We currently have Centenary University and we have DeSoto Parish Sheriff's Office that are current users. We have about 15 pending contracts. One of the contracts is pending with Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office, which we're certain that they're coming on. And the other big contract is Louisiana State Police. We've all met with Major Edmondson, Lieutenant Colonel Cox, some of the major lieutenant colonels down there at State Police, and we've been negotiating back and forth now to get the contracts right to fit their needs for Louisiana State Police, but they're definitely coming on board.
Okay, we got a couple of commissioners that would like to ask you some questions.
All right.
Commissioner Williams?
Let me just say, with the state of America in regards to traffic stops, especially with African Americans, we know time is very important because oftentimes they stop people with mental health issues. With the new cutting edge of technology you have, not only you save the officer life, but you're saving people lives.
Exactly right.
You're
And I
exactly
can't,
right.
this is something that's long overdue. The recent cloud over America regarding the relationship with police officers and the community. I know community-oriented policing is a tool, but this technological technique that you came up with is something I feel that America should be excited. I'm excited because you're from here, made in the Octatech.
That's correct.
You know, I mean, we should embrace our home entrepreneurs that have ideas, and we can keep you here. I know we have a program called the Accelerated Entrepreneur with Biomed. I don't know if you met with them, maybe get with our administration and Clay regarding how we can help with juveniles. Juveniles, I'm very passionate. Everybody know how I feel about juveniles, and I'm really so excited about knowing that you have a crime-fighting technique and technology to make time more faster, getting information to the officer and the parent. That's been the most difficult problem in America, getting parents informed about their children and where they're at. It may cut down on truancy as well. So I could see where it could be a win-win with saving lives and also being a very proactive. Hopefully reducing the beds in our juvenile, we already done that, and also in our adult facility as well. So I mean, you guys should be commended. Being right here from the street, made right here in our hometown, have a patent, already have contract. So it's proven they have a documented and demonstrated record that it does work in other places. You have one here yet? You have one in Caddo yet at all?
We have a pending contract with.
But you had to go outside.
Caddo Sheriff's Office.
You had to go outside Caddo Parish and get a contract. It seemed like it should have started home cooking, and it always tastes better. So we hope that we'll move fast on this with our administration, and Clay and the staff and the juvenile, and maybe sit down and maybe talk to our committee regarding the future of your project. And I just can't find words to say that I'm really excited for you. Being an entrepreneur, small business, bringing jobs, bringing technology, bringing attention to Shreveport on something positive that can save the quality of life for citizens, not only just in Caddo Parish, but in America. So I really commend Commissioner Edwards in bringing you to us to recognize you, and hopefully we can someday find a contract for you to do business here with us. Thank you so much. Thank you for your ideas. And I thank God. I think America will be pleased with what we're trying to do, and just build a better relationship with police. You know, let's be a relationship. We just need to have a better trust, better relationship with our police officers. They're men and women. They need to have respect as well, and as people do as well. And I think that's part of the equation of community preaching and community policing.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Mike, you need to see, can you get them on Rick Rose Show, Channel 3?
I agree with Commissioner Williams in referring y'all to the EAP, the Entrepreneurial Accelerator Program with Startup. What other entities have you worked with? You said that you have a pending contract with the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir. They're actually reviewing it currently. I expect it to be signed, based on what I've been talking to them about, I expect it to be signed any day, and then we can start working on getting them trained, developing a training program and getting them trained as soon as possible so we can start initiating the system in our area. We've also got, we've trained Greenwood PD. We were out there last week working with Greenwood, so they're going to be coming on as well. DeSoto, we have some scheduled training with them, DeSoto Sheriff's Office, and we've also got Centenary PD. So it's applicable to all those different size agencies.
So Centenary, Greenwood, and DeSoto Parish have all purchased your program?
The signed contracts that we have are with DeSoto Sheriff's Office and Centenary PD. We have contracts on the desks at Greenwood PD and at Caddo Sheriff's Office. So we expect those to happen any day now.
I guess we do directly fund CCC, but as far as day-to-day operations with police forces, we don't have any control over them. What do you view our part to be in you making your presentation?
At this point, we wanted to make you aware of what we had and what we're bringing to the area, so that when you do start hearing about it, either from your constituents or from other businesses, and they start talking to you about it, at least you're aware of what it is that we're doing. We don't know specifically at this point what the Cattle Commission can do for us, but we wanted to give you enough heads up so that you don't hear about it a year from now when we've progressed to a certain level and you're 6 or 8 months behind. If there's something that needs to be done, we want you aware of it now. If you have any other questions, you can get with us now. Make sure that we take the right steps now to maximize its effect and its benefit for this area.
I appreciate you bringing that to us. Thank you. That's all.
Commissioner Escudero.
Really, I was going to ask what Matthew asked, what can we do for you now? I'm probably more familiar with your program than I want to be. ran into a friend of mine who's a retired policeman a couple of weeks ago, and he didn't take a breath for 45 minutes talking about it, and I'm not going to say his name, but you would know him. And I'm just going, wow, this stuff is off the chart, and so I'm happy that Caddo's getting behind you. Perhaps you should try to make a presentation to the city council. There'd be the city police would be the next logical one. You know, from what I understand, you know, you're beyond the EAP program. You guys are funded. You got your business model. You got your plan. You got all your ducks in a row. You don't need them. What you need is initially to get clients and to have a track record of success so you can go nationwide and worldwide with this thing. And hopefully we can maybe pass a resolution that would encourage all West Louisiana law enforcement to give you guys the time of day, because if you can't, you know, if the chicken can't lay their egg in their own hen house, it's shame on us. You know, you shouldn't have to be marketing this in California, New York before here. So good luck to you. If something like that, perhaps a resolution from this body that goes to all the neighboring parishes and municipalities would be something that would serve you, we'd certainly be entertained doing that. And I'm not going to talk about your program. It's your program, but it's some. Once you get your brain around it, it's some pretty off the chart stuff, man. You know, and it happened right here, and that's just what's amazing about it. So, thank you.
If you knew us, you'd be even more amazing, if you really knew us.
Well, I know about your background too. I mean, that was part of that 45-minute dissertation without a breath. So yeah, I feel like I know you guys too. At least I know where you've been anyway. But I don't want to know that really.
Thank you all for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Still got some more commission.
Got another question? Okay.
I will be sending you some contact information with members of the Police Jury Association, which they, you know, all 64 of the 63 parishes are members. And also I'll be sending some contact information with our National Association of County Officials.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, we talked about it, and I've heard a couple people say about the EAP, and Commissioner Escalade saying that they're actually past the EAP stage. But one of the comments that they did make is about juvenile detention, and we are over that particular piece of it. And we did get a letter from the mayor asking for some resources for law enforcement. So what they asked for we can't do, but maybe this program here we might be able to help with the police department to put that technology in place to help with those juveniles as they be engaged by the police department. I don't know how much it costs or to get and use, but it could be something as a resource that we could use, because this past summer we did have a spike in crime with juveniles, a lot of juveniles, and then a lot of domestic disputes that happened. So this could be something that could possibly be used to try to keep that number down during the summertime months. Anything that we can do to try to help deter crime, we ought to try to see what we can do. And I think this would be a good tool to use to try to do that. And I would ask that you get with Dr. Wilson, or, well, Lucky's not here, but Dr. Wilson or Clay, and get some details and some figures, some numbers that they can present to us to see if we can maybe help assist the Shreveport Police Department and the city of Shreveport in doing so. The sheriff, I think he has his own budget, and he probably is satisfied with what he got and has some funds he could maneuver around to get that done on the parish side. But it's not as much crime in the parish as it is inside the city limits. So try to use our dollars wisely and use it to the point of where the activity is. So if you get with Clay right now, he's sitting in the back, he can help you out. Mr. Thibodeau, you back on the board?
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't be around to vote on any of this because I didn't run for re-election, but I just want to say that I know that I taught and coached Robert's younger brothers and sisters, and know that I know his dad's retired military, and they're an outstanding family. All the kids were great, So, it's good to know a little something about their family background, and, I know that Robert comes from an outstanding family, so for whatever that's worth.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Clay is standing up in the back. He'll help you as much as possible.
Talk to him right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next item,
Next, we move to reports, administrative report.
Dr. Wilson, you have anything?
Program something worthwhile endeavor. Take care. Sorry, man. Commissioners, just want to remind you of November 16th, we have a review with you all to review the proposed 2016 budget. And that's 9 o'clock at the Swepco Business Center on November the 16th. You'll send us an email? Yes, sir, we can. We'll send you a reminder as we get closer to that date. If you can put it on your calendars, I appreciate it.
That's it?
Yes, sir, it is.
Commissioner Williams, you have something next
So
to?
the administration, yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I received several phone calls regarding the ordinance concerning the horse ordinance.
Which one?
There's a lot of people opposition of not being able to have the privilege to ride their horse in their communities. And I think we need to do something proactive to assist those family members, those individuals accustomed to riding their horses in the community. I want to ask our Parks and Recreation Director to look and see if we have any property in the rural area somewhere. Where maybe we can look at creating a horse trail ride or a horse park, so people can ride their horses in a safe environment. If there are any other cities or counties across America that may have a horse trail ride where they can ride, and I don't know how you would fund it, tip it, how it may be a public done, but we don't need to just prohibit families that are become accustomed to riding horses. You know, young people look up. I didn't get a chance to ride a horse ever in my life. When I did roll one, I tore my knee up. It was a mule.
That sounds fitting,
Like a stubborn mule.
I just tell you that growing up in urban America, we don't get a chance to interact with wildlife that much unless you watch National Geographic or the Animal Channel. So I think it would be fitting, besides 4-H or something. Your parents didn't have money to take you to the rural area, you never saw a horse. Never saw horses these days. So that's why we need a zoo, Ken. You've been pushing for years. But I do want to have a win-win where we have input with people. I think the city council, and I think Jared is going to be coming for your committee in the near future. We need to have a plan B. If the other ordinance prohibit individuals riding their horses in the city, we need to have a place where they can take their horses and ride, and take their families and ride. We need to be more family-driven. And we don't do a lot of things for families. It's always about adults. What about the children? You know, our children. Got to help our young people learn about horses, how to take care of them, mentor to a horse. And it's a good opportunity. I even think one of our movie stars has a ranch where he take kids. What's his name? Be on the radio in the morning. He has a ranch where he take children for mentoring and after school and those things. So let's look at I think it's Harvey. Yesterday. Steve Harvey. But I do think we need to find a plan B, because there's going to be a lot of protests up here regarding that. And I think we need to be proactive, working with the city. Because I know we just did one for a rifle range in the rural area where people can go shoot their weapons. I know we can find a place where we can find a. We just got a dog park. We need to have a horse park, or a horse trail ride where people can go. And why can't we take the lead and do that? Secondly, why are we sitting there letting that baseball park at the fairground just sit there and deteriorate? I would like to see us try to engage in some type of relationship with the city, and let's try to find an intergovernmental agreement where we can utilize the park to bring activities to the park. Softball tournaments and whatever kind of tournament we can use. We're just sitting there collecting dust, being vacant, not doing nothing, just deteriorating. We spend a lot of tax dollars in the facility. It's not doing nothing. What do you think about it? Jerry, you know I talked to you about that.
Right.
So So let's reach out to the parks. Let's engage and have some intergovernmental agreement, and let's work together to try to bring some family-oriented events to this parish and to this city. And I would like the administration to engage with the city and the mayor and the parks and see how we can develop a relationship with that facility. So those two things I think we need to be proactive on, because they're coming. The summer is coming. And I know the horse situation will become before the city and the parish in the near future.
And Commissioner Williams, Commissioners, I just want to make you aware, we already have a very nice horse trail at Eddie Jones Park.
That's what I was gonna ask.
The who?
about.
Eddie Jones Park.
James.
We have a,
It's
we
a-
have
I mean,
a-
but it's not being publicized enough, you know.
so we have a real class park out there. That
I'm saying,
horse
but
trail.
we need to get the word out, or we need to find a way to get the message out for an alternative, because a lot of people don't know nothing about it. I mean, you talking to most people, they never heard of it. So maybe it's
Okay.
our new marketing director, whenever that's come on board next year, can help us get the word out, get the message out. And I didn't even know we had a horse park there. I know on the trail ride, I mean a bicycle trail. I didn't know about the horse.
It's well used.
Okay.
Every
All right.
weekend is a lot.
All right, thank you.
Okay, sir.
Commissioner Cox, you got something for administrative report, or?
On this subject here, I'd like to ask Chuck a question.
Okay.
Chuck, could you come up, please?
You can cross me out.
Did the city of Shreveport have y'all involved in this ordinance that they put out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Chuck?
I was at the meeting.
Chuck Wooden?
Yes, sir, we have been in those meetings
Okay.
for the new ordinance, yeah.
Okay, and so are y'all to oversee it, or is the city police department to oversee it?
To oversee the ordinance,
Yes.
we'll have to oversee the ordinance, as we currently do.
Okay, and, I mean, I'd heard about it on radio. What does it entail as far as, you know, because people on Greenwood Road,
Yeah, I'm gonna let Commissioner Bowman discuss that. He's the one that's heading up the ordinance.
okay, well, I got Mr.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Wilson over
Oh,
here.
Yes, sir. I was at the
It's-
meeting.
Okay, you explain,
Yeah.
if that's okay with President, like,
Part of administrative report, so go ahead.
Yes, sir. The Councilman Hall Jenkins asked us to attend one of his meetings with his colleagues on the city council and wanted our input on the horse ordinance because they got a lot of complaints. There was not enough space to have a horse. The property was very small.
which area is he talking about, Greenwood Road?
Citywide, city.
Okay.
There was some issues relative to Ralph Line Avenue. He specifically wanted to address behind Kentucky's, I believe.
Yeah.
And they had horses on someone's backyard. There wasn't enough adequate space for the horse to even be out there. So he was trying to specify some space requirement and some fencing requirements for horses within the city limits. So I did attend the meeting, and we provided our inputs and the language, and so they would consider it at the city council. And we did voice our concern. We are getting a lot of issues dealing with horses, that we have to go and pick them up, and when we do that, we have to we have a contract to contract that out for their care. And we was telling them that this is becoming prolific, that we will have to deal with it eventually because it's causing a lot of issues for us, and we don't have the capacity to store horses when there are violations. So they were going to try to tighten up their regulations so that adequate space is available to have horses in the city limits.
Okay, and not too much more time, but go back 3 years. You and I and a group of people went to Meriwether Road, saw what was on Meriwether Road. So I'm kind of PO'd that we can put this kind of attention on this and not on that, because I almost got sued out of that. Simply because I brought it to y'all's attention and it was swept under the rug as far as I'm concerned. Because those horses are still there in an area that it shouldn't be at their neighbor's back door, along with the dog problem and all that. I know because the lady still talks to me.
They didn't have ordinance.
So how can we justify doing this ordinance and putting your crew and the parish's money in for horses when we can't even take care of the problems that we had in the parish?
Because the ordinance that addressed this issue need to be reworked, because I believe I'm familiar with the situation you're talking about, Commissioner Cox. The gentleman was forced to be in compliance with fencing, and he had adequate space, but others that live in the city were bringing their horses out there for this gentleman to take care of.
That's right.
And they were bony too.
Right.
Well, they were not, in my opinion, they were not being taken care of. Improper fencing, It was not adequate for what he had.
That's the central issue, this whole discussion, is what's adequate.
Yeah.
But the ordinance does not address it fully.
Good luck, because you're gonna have problems.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are.
Commissioner Bowman.
That's okay. He already got it early.
All right, Commissioner Carthon.
Hey, I just want a clarification, that this ordinance is being originated at the city council
Yes.
or at the parish level?
City council.
So at the city council level, and so it speaks more to the housing and maintenance of the horses as opposed to, I was kind of under the impression that there was some prohibition on people being allowed to ride their horses inside the city.
That
So
too?
that's not what it says.
That's a part of the ordinance too?
No, sir, the ordinance talks about the care and adequate space for horses
Kind
within
of
the
like
city
for dogs,
limits.
they have to have this certain leash space if they're gonna be in an area that's not confined by a fence. That same rules apply. I mean, you know, they have rules for that.
And Oliver Jenkins is the author of that?
Yes, sir, he
legislation?
is.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I think I'm up next. Now, ever since I've been born, which I'm about 40-some years old.
You look older.
Thank you. There's been horses, I know, in two neighborhoods. One is in Moore Grove.
Moretown.
And the other one will be on
And
Cooper
MLK.
Road.
Hollywood.
Hollywood too, yeah.
All of those. And so
Meriwether,
there's a lot of
Line
places
Avenue.
where these horses are. And for this somebody to make a arbitrary ordinance to put it out there and then for them to vote on it without voters' input on, because there's so many different areas where these horses are, how are you going to enforce that? I mean, we don't have no place to put all them horses.
That's true.
I mean, how you going to do that?
We told them that. It's gonna be difficult for us to do.
You know, I think this really needs to be re-looked at, even though they voted on it and passed it on their side.
We did that.
You know, but you still have, you have areas in which that we cover, which is both city and rural.
Right.
And that, we didn't even have a say-so in.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because they only voted on that portion of the ordinance that requires in the city.
In the city.
And-
But
and
at
they're
the
the ones
same
have to
time,
vote on
Animal
that.
Services is gonna be the one that's gonna get called on it,
Yes, sir.
which they report to you,
We shared that with
which
them.
falls up under our umbrella.
We did.
So therefore, I think that there's a major gap there in this. Because now we could say, well, Animal Services don't respond to that. You gotta call SPD. SPD don't have time to go pick up horses. They have nowhere to put them.
Right.
resources.
So therefore, we need to have this relooked at, and we need to get the city council and them on board to understand the ramifications behind this and all the other areas that are impacted besides one or two areas inside of their district. You know, I thought that this would have to come through us as well, for us to vote on it, for it to go through as a group process. But if it's just gonna be a city issue, then I mean, we can make animal ordinances all day long and force the city to abide by them because the city is inside the parish.
But they have to adopt anything you pass, they have to
Well,
adopt
we
it.
need to adopt what they trying to do as well.
That's right.
Because it's our animal services that's gonna have to go to respond to
That's true.
these calls. Right or wrong?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
So we need to have that re-looked
Yeah.
at. You wanna talk? Are you back? No?
I said the same thing I was gonna say.
Commissioner Escudé.
I agree with where Commissioner Johnson's going on this. How can the city tighten their ordinance and shift the burden and the cost on us without an action of this body?
Yes, sir. I think the city approached it from a property standards perspective first and
Care how they
foremost.
approach it from.
And then they also, but they were made aware that anything that you all do, and if you expect us to enforce it, we have to be in the position to do that.
Well, no, we don't have to do anything.
I mean,
Cite me some law that says they can pass, they can tweak their ordinance with regards to animal issues, place the burden of responsibility to respond and the cost on us. You cite me the state law that says we have to suck that up,
can't cite one.
okay? Then I just don't think everybody was at the table that needed to be at the table when they passed this ordinance.
That's right.
You know, and as far as I'm concerned, the parish could very well take the position at this point until it's resolved, we're not touching it.
Okay.
That's just my thought.
I thought too.
Thank you.
You've already talked. Bowman,
Yes, I was wondering from our last committee meeting, wasn't there a request for us to be put on the city council
To review our
agenda,
ordinance?
so we can also discuss the ordinances?
Yes, sir.
No.
I think they were gonna review.
The request was for me to send the ordinance to the city attorney to have the city council review it. But as far as I'm aware, there's not been any request to be on the agenda
Okay.
by any person. Do you need me to request that?
Yes, ma'am, because we were supposed to talk about the, having an agreement with the city so we can be on the same page. Is that, am I incorrect?
That is correct. What it is, Commissioner, is that if the city does not adopt the changes that we adopt, then whatever the parish adopts will not be enforceable inside the city limits.
Right.
So the point of that was to make sure that the changes you all adopt would affect the citizens inside the city limits.
They would adopt it,
Right.
and vice versa.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Epps?
We have the option of levying a fee, don't we, for our services? Can we adopt a measure to levy a fee?
That's good.
Huh? If we had to go out and pick up a horse and whatever it is,
It would be
Can we
nice
put
if
a
we could
fee
get
on it?
some, it would be nice if we can get some financial support. But a few years ago, I believe in 2009, we went to the city council, we went to the mayor's office and talked about how they can help us put more ACOs on the street. And we asked for some money from them to perhaps help supplement our animal services operation. And the only thing we got out of that deal was free tipping fees at the landfill. They said they didn't have any money to give us because we were trying to expand our services. And they told us, you all collect a health tax, take that health tax money and go and do animal service work. That's what the message we got from the meeting.
so what I'm saying is, don't we have the option to adopt an ordinance to levy a fee?
In the city?
If we had to, where we had to go and do a horse. If they got an ordinance in place that's causing us a burden, can't we levy a fee?
Bobby,
I agree.
I mean, I don't know,
Probably to the
to the individual, that's
probably. Exactly.
that's violation. That's what I'm saying, that'll get some action.
Well, that would certainly help us because we had to pick up animals now that are not probably cared for, horses. And we are stuck paying for those fees until they're, can be picked up from our care.
That's all.
All right, Commissioner Cox, secretary?
It was under my understanding, when we redid the ordinances back when I did them in 2006, I think, is that we put in boarding if we had to take in animals.
Right.
Be dog, cat, or whatever,
Yes, we do have that.
okay? So doesn't that
We gotta pick 'em up,
cover
they can
horses
hit.
as well? It
Yeah,
should. If not, somebody needs to check into that.
We'll check. Right now, it's not sufficient funds, but we will check.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Back in those days, I can remember, we put in something like
It
that.
applies to horses too. I know we do that for dogs, cats, and so on and so
Well,
forth.
I'm pretty sure we did because that issue came up,
check.
back when I did it. My suggestion would be that, our president, Mr. Bowman, since you were over that committee, get with their, chairman of the city council, sit down with them soon and see if there's some compromise here somewhere.
Yeah.
That way, because we are taking the ordinances that Mr.
Right.
Bowman was chairman of, to the city council. And last time, we didn't have any problem with it because they basically said, you know, that's your department, y'all working inside the city, we're good with whatever y'all got. And it didn't take, you know, any time to pass that. I'm sure it's gonna be the same way this time. But this issue needs to come up and the boarding needs to come up, so we're all on the same page. I'm like, Mr. Cawthorn, up and down Greenwood Road on Saturday morning, you can see them horses out. I understand
I like horses.
that it's not the horses being out on the street as per se, it's where they are kept.
Correct.
Now, I can understand that, you know, with some residents that move into a neighborhood and next thing they know, they see and smell a horse 2 doors down.
Yeah.
You know, I can see that. And there are horses that are inside city limits that are contained in backyards that are not big enough for a horse. So I can understand the city's point, but I also understand our point as far as when we're asking animal control to go out and do something that did not come to us first. We have the common courtesy of taking the ordinances off Mr. Bowman's committee, finalized, sent to legal. Legal sends it to city council, and that was done last week.
Week before
We're in the
that.
process. We had to go over another draft, but it will be done by the end of this week.
Okay, so they'll have them next week.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a process. They'll give them, that will be in January probably when they come in and say yay or nay. So y'all have till then, in my opinion, before you leave office, your department or your committee, the president, and probably even our administrator, sit down with the city council and say, this is what's going on, and work it. That way nobody can say, he said, she said, and everybody get their ruffles. This can be done quite easily, but everybody needs to be on the same page. What you
I
shaking?
don't see no easy way out on this. Commissioner Williams.
My final comment, Mr. Chairman, is always like, most of them said around the room, Ken and all, and this unfunded ordinance puts a burden on us. And I do feel we send a mixed signal out to the community when we as city council and commissioners don't work together. But the public, when it goes out in the public, they understand that we are together on this ordinance. Commissioner Cox said it right. It's a storage problem, not a riding problem.
Right.
And we need to look at, like they have storages, we need to find maybe a storage facility that people don't have available in their yard. Find a storage facility, like a horse storage, for people to store their horse and maybe a fee. That's a business. So I'm saying there's opportunities. I don't know if it came from uniform code or whatever the case may be, but we got to learn to work with the people at the bottom and craft and create legislation together. We won't have opposition, because guess what? The horse trail riders, the people that own horses can have input in crafting and creating the ordinance. Everybody want to work together, but they're not at the table. That is the problem. It should have been a town hall meeting about, because everybody to me is thinking, right, we can't ride our horse. That's what they're thinking, not storage. It's a mixed signal. So we need to send the right signal. When we need to pace ourselves, we shouldn't make a knee-jerk reaction just because someone in a particular district got a horse problem. It should be very inclusive, well thought out, and us together. We have a great chairman on the Animal Shelter Committee. Mr. Cox been on it for years, done a great job.
Stop it.
Done a great job. Mr. Cox been working on it for years, and we don't need this eggshell to be on our face. We get enough bad publicity as it is. So I hope that we don't rush to judgment, rush to make decisions, that we will look at it more than one way. You got to have a storage problem for people to store their horses in the community that don't have the yardage for that. That is a problem. Need to have a town hall meeting so people get input in each area, especially with call the horse community together, that riding club. Most of them own the horses. I think we can have a win-win. We learn to be inclusive, include the people that is going to affect the most. Those are the people that own the horses, especially in our neighborhoods, urban commissioners, it's going to affect us. So we don't need to rush to this. We need to be well thought out, refer it back to committee, and let's start all over again. Thank you.
Next item.
Communications committee reports.
Okay, I think we kind of went through communiques and reports. Anybody had something on that? If not, next item.
President's report.
I'll yield to Thursday.
No old business, we move to new business. Authorized introduction of ordinance number 5544, adopting the budget estimate revenues expenditures for the Shreve Memorial Library for the year 2016.
Move to Thursday. Been moved by the chair, second by Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Thibodeau.
In Globo ordinance 5544, 45, and 46.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Thibodeau to englobo ordinance number 55, 44, 45, and 46. See no one that want to speak on that. Let's vote.
$50 per head, $25. Should be raised.
That passes 10-0.
Authorized resolution number 63 of 2015, submitting to Governor Bobby Jindal a name for appointment for membership in the Red River Waterway Commission.
Move to Thursday. Second. Been moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Williams. See no one that wishes to speak on that. Let's vote. Caught on. That passes 11-0.
Authorize resolution number 64, urging Louisiana Department of Transportation Development to select a location.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bowman, seconded by Commissioner Cox. I do have one question. Is this, the first exit coming in?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's vote. Caught on. That passes 11-0.
Authorize holidays for Caddo Parish employees.
Move
Thursday.
Thursday.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Cox, seconded by Commissioner Watts. I think I heard up first. Let's vote. That passes 10-1 to move to Thursday.
Authorize reappointment to Caddo Parish Sewers District Number 7, Mr. Calvin Millender.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Watts. Move to Thursday. I don't have anything to say on that. Let's vote. That passes 11-0.
Point of order. Before you do the consent and all that good stuff, you knock your gavel and tell us all we can leave.
Okay,
Can I have it?
go ahead.
Okay, you know, you always gotta ask your permission, so didn't wanna get that snarly eye you always give us. As far as the boarding, we do have, our attorney just showed me where we do have boarding fees for horses in our ordinance, but looking at them, they could probably go up a little bit. So, but we do have, that is charged back to the owner. I knew I'd put it in there. Okay, I'm through, sir.
Next, we have consent agenda.
Mute. Baby bird. Kevin. Hey, where you going? Kevin. Where you headed?